Hello, my name is Deborah Houghton and I am a CSU Public Student Intern, and I'm excited to share this fun activity with you about line plots. The standard is for 4th grade. It's going to be line plots and placing fractions on a line plot. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab all my materials. I got scissors, our cards, our printout, and then a form of writing utensil. And so first I'm going to print. I already cut these out to save time, so I'm going to take our cup and I'm going to fold them in half and place them in our cup so we were not seeing. Alright, so I have them all folded and placed in our cup, and I'm going to mix those around. And then our next thing is going to take our line plot, and I'm going to label what it says to label. So there are fractions at the top, these tiny fractions. It'll say X over your number, and that's the number of spaces in between that you have. So I'm going to count. The first one's going to be X over 2, so I'm going to count 1, 2. I'm going to put my whole there. So I put my 1 right above that. And then I've got the third, so I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my 1 over that line. And then 4. And then I have 6. And I have 8. So I've put my 1 in different places on each line. And so you'll be able to do that after looking at these fractions right here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start drawing fractions from our container. I'm going to grab one out, and I got 5/8. So I look for our fraction with the eighths, and I know that this is this bottom one because it says X over 8, and I also know that because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces in between. And so we're going to count 5 over 8. So I know that there are 5 portions of 1/8. So I know that this is going to be 1/8. So I'm going to label that for myself. So I'm going to label 1/8 to know what our one portion is, or 1/8. One part is going to be 1/8. And then I'm going to count 5 of those to plot our 5/8. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right above that, I'm going to write our fraction. For a hint, you can always look at your card. So I'm going to look at my card. I'm not going to write 5 over 8. So there I have labeled my fraction. And then I'm going to keep drawing. It's going to be different every time. So this one's going to be 3/4. So for that line plot, I'm going to look for our plot with 4. So I know it's this one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to label our part. And I know that our part's going to be 1 over 4. So I'm going to label that on the first one. So I've done that. And then I'm going to plot 3/4. So I'm going to get 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to plot 3 over 4 on our line plot. So I have our whole, or our portion right here, and our holes over here, and I'm going to count 3 portions because it's going to be 3 over 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3/4. I'm going to keep going. 7/8. So we're going back to our 8, and I've already counted to 5, so I'm going to continue from there, and I'm going to go 6 and 7. 7/8. For our fraction. So remember, our bottom number is always going to be the number of parts there are in our whole, and then the top number is going to be how many parts over we are going. So if we had 8 over 8, that would equal our whole. So I'm going to go again. Okay, and I got 1 over 2. So I'm going to go to our 1 with 2 portions, and I'm going to label 1 over 2. So I have 1 over 2, and this is also going to be called 1/2. We're just going to keep going. Alright, and this one's interesting. It has a little hint on it, but our number is going to be 1 over 1. And our hint says plot this 1 on all of them. So plot this number on all of them. So I know that 1 over 1 means that it's going to be a whole number. So I'm going to plot 1 over 1 on all of my numbers. And then I'm going to write a fraction that means the same thing on each one, and I'll show you in a second. That might help you count the parts. So you'll notice that on each whole, I wrote that the first whole is 1 over 1, or that equals 2 of our 2 parts. And then the next one is 3 of our 3 parts, because that means there's a whole, 4 of our 4, 6 of our 6, and then 8 of our 8 parts. So we're just going to keep plotting then. And I got 2 over 4. So I'm going to go to my fourth, and I'm going to write 2 over 4. And I'm going to keep going. So 6 over 8, and we're just going to keep going until we get to the end. So let me do that really quick. I got 1/8. 3/8. 1/4. 2/3. 7/6. 2/6. 1/3. And 1/6. All right, I'm gonna move all this out of the way, and there are more questions on our paper, so you'll see that I have plotted each number that I drew, and then the questions under each plot say what is the difference between the largest and the smallest plotted numbers. So I know that our largest is always going to be our 2 over 2 for the first one. So I'm going to write 2 over 2. I'm going to write minus, and our smallest was 1 over 2. So when you're subtracting fractions and they have the same number on the bottom, it means you can keep that number. So I'm going to write equals, I'm going to write over 2. But then we have to subtract our top. So we're going to do 2 subtracting 1. So 2 minus 1 is going to be 1. So our answer for the first one is going to be 1/2. And we're going to do that for the next one. So I have 3 minus 3, or 3 over 3 minus our 1/3, because that is our smallest one and our largest one that we've plotted. And then I'm going to know that that's 2 over 3rd, because I'm keeping the bottom number again. See, 3 minus 3, we're keeping the bottom number, and we're only subtracting the tops as long as these two numbers are the same. So I know that 3 minus 1 equals 2. We're going to do this for all of our numbers. So the next one is going to be 4. So I'm going to do 4 over 4 minus 1/4 equals 3/4. And then 6 over 6 minus 1/6 equals 5/6. And then I have 8 over 8 minus 1/8 equals 7/8. Alright, and if you notice, you might notice a pattern. How each of these is going up by 1. So 1/2 goes up to, oh, I didn't write that one in. If you add 1 to each part, so 1/2, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2/3, 3/4, 5/6, and then 7/8. Or you notice it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, and if you have any questions, just let me know, and have fun with the activity.